Hi, everyone. My name is Richard Smith, Head of Sales and Co-founded Refract.ai, and one of the founding coaches of mysalescoach.com. I'm really excited today to share exclusively the results of the SaaS State of the Nation Sales Coaching Survey that we've been running over the past few months. So the premise of this survey was that we went to the SaaS and Tech nation and surveyed both sales leadership and sales reps to talk and understand more about the trends around sales coaching from these different perspectives within the sales world today. Just a little bit on the demographic of people who took part. So this was split between individual contributors and sales leadership themselves. Perhaps quite depressingly, 3/4 of respondents were male versus female. Pretty depressing to still see such an imbalance of gender across the sales population, and worth mentioning that these metrics were almost exactly the same, both with ICs and sales leadership. We actually looked at the types of teams that participated, and 50% of sales leaders who took part in this survey were managing teams with a collective team quota of between 500,000 to 5 million. So let's get into it. So how important is coaching to salespeople? We asked the ICs who were SDRs, BDMs, account executives, even some people in customer success, how important is coaching to you? And a compelling case was put forward by the sales reps themselves. 3/4 of respondents deemed coaching to be either critical or at least very important to helping them achieve their personal goals and to be successful. Lots of reasons as to why sales reps feel coaching helps improve them. Improving skills and results came out on top, but interestingly, elevating their confidence was also quite popular. Interestingly, many said it actually helps them improve their relationship with their manager, which I think when we look at the reason that so many salespeople, they leave their companies is often due to the lack of relationship they have with their boss. And we also asked, what do sales leaders think of coaching importance? We've heard from the salespeople. What do the sales leaders say? Well, overwhelmingly, nearly all who participated claim that coaching positively impacts on their team's performance. So again, very, very similar to the salespeople. Sales leaders say that coaching really matters. In fact, nearly 90% of sales leaders who took part in the survey also claim that coaching was either at least a very important or indeed critical function of their role. So they're putting a high importance as far as where coaching sits on their priority list. Okay, so lots of importance put on coaching. What about the reality? So we actually asked the salespeople, so how much coaching do you receive on a weekly basis? And despite the level of importance that salespeople put on coaching, over half of respondents claim they either rarely get weekly coaching or don't receive any coaching whatsoever. Positively, though, half of all reps are getting coached weekly, and for me, that's a big noticeable shift change over the past 4 or 5 years or so since I've been really paying close attention to this market. So roughly 25% of sales reps claim they're being coached on a weekly basis, so we're all assuming that the managers will say the same, right? It's actually quite the contrast. Over 60% of sales leaders claim they're coaching their reps at least on a weekly basis, and 22% of that number claim they're coaching each rep daily. As we can see, there's a huge disparity here between what the salespeople are saying and the sales leadership. So where do salespeople say it's going wrong for them then? Well, it was actually nigh on neck and neck as far as the reasons why coaching was letting them down between the frequency of coaching they were receiving and the fact that when they do get coached, they don't find it useful in helping them get better. In other words, the coaching is actually ineffective in their opinion. So who should we believe then? With sales reps saying one thing, sales leadership saying another, who should we believe? Is this just a case of moany entitled salespeople who claim to receive less coaching than they actually do? Are sales reps not being proactive in reaching out for coaching, asking for coaching? Are they just relying on their managers to be reactive? Well, actually, the significant majority of sales leaders who took part in this survey, of which there were hundreds, claim that their reps are proactive in seeking out coaching. Again, the data tells us that sales managers, unfortunately, are not delivering as much high-quality coaching as they claim to be. So we asked sales leaders, what struggles do you have with coaching? And unsurprisingly, time and prioritization challenges are getting in the way the most, about 60%. And again, there's a disparity here between how important managers and leaders are saying coaching is to how much time and priority they're actually putting on it. And there are some valid reasons in some cases. Your managers are very busy. They're tasked with lots of admin, too many internal meetings, growing teams. They're spending time selling themselves. But most startling is that a fifth of managers and leaders claim that coaching simply isn't being supported well enough by the organization. But let's look about, aside from the importance that people put on coaching, does it actually impact on performance in reality? Well, the chart at the top indicates quota attainment in sales reps when they receive regular coaching versus the bottom, which is when they aren't receiving regular coaching. And although the percentage of reps who exceeded quota was not massively different, you were pretty much twice as likely to miss quota when not being coached regularly. Quite simply, coaching when done regularly increases the chances of getting your reps to go. So we actually elaborate on this point about how is coaching supported in the company, and we asked the question, is coaching seen as a mandatory activity in your organization? And it was split right down the middle. And this really surprised me, because if something which 90% of sales leaders claim is at least a very important function of their role, 3/4 of all salespeople are saying coaching is hugely important to helping them succeed, then it begs the question as to why so many companies are not making coaching a mandatory function of their sales leadership. And then finally, how does call recording help with coaching? Well, 55% of respondents in the survey who use call recording internally to support sales coaching initiatives, of those who use call recording, they were 35% more likely to either meet or exceed quota than those who didn't. So, and I know there's lots of companies out there who already record calls. If you're not, and you want to start to understand how you can use recording to improve the performance of your salespeople, please check us out, refract.ai. Or if you are recording calls, get in touch with us to see how we can amplify what you're already doing and ultimately help deliver better results for your team.